Hi, and welcome back to freshmi.com. My name is Eric, and this is a continuation of our DVD tutorial. We just mapped our UVs, now we're ready to lay them out. We didn't map the inside of this, and the only reason being is just so that this video doesn't go on longer than what it really needs to be. But you saw how we did the outside, so feel free to do the inside the same way. All right, let's go ahead and lay everything out. So let's bring all our objects back. Show, isolate, select, view, select. Let's just uncheck that. Alright, so here's all our objects here. Checkerboard pattern on this is not the same as everything else, which is okay, especially since everything is going to be the same color, but generally you want to try to keep whatever object you're working on, you want to try to keep all the UVs the same, so all the pattern the same. Alright, I'm going to select everything and delete history. So edit, delete by type, history, or you can do edit, delete by, or delete all by type, history. Alright, I'm trying not to say so much in these videos. It's just so hard. You do it without even thinking. I'm going to open up the UV texture editor. So edit UVs, UV texture editor. I'm going to select all my objects. And you can see, okay, let me go in. Everything looks fine as far as, like some of the stuff, like this door, you can see it's purples. That's because blue and red makes purple. The front side's is facing correctly, which is blue, but if we turn this around, look at the back side, it's backwards. But I'm not going to worry about that as long as it's the right way. But if you wanted to, you could cut your UVs, which you're going to see here shortly, because we're going to do some cutting on this piece over here, this big piece. But you could cut this and separate the front and the back, and you could flip that around if you wanted to. But for this, it's not going to matter. Alright, I'm going to select all these objects, and let's see, before we start doing this, let's go ahead and cut this piece up. If we look at the UVs right here for right click UV, if we look at these UVs right here, this is the side. This is going to be two different colors. All this up here is going to be like a dark color, and all this down here is going to be a light color. But it's going to be, it'd be a lot easier if we didn't have to try to make a line right here inside of Photoshop or GIMP or something like that. We could if we wanted to, but to make it easier, I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to do a cut. On the tray right here, we sewed UVs together. Well, we're going to do the opposite here. I'm just going to zoom in here, and F10 for edge select mode. I'm going to just zoom in here and select an edge. So this edge right there, I'm just going to double click on it. Selects the whole thing. Let me go to wireframe so you can see what I did. Let me smooth shade so you can see a little better. So you can see I selected an edge all the way around right there. So if we go back in and look, you can see where that edge is. So right there inside that groove. Alright, with that edge selected, inside the UV texture editor, I'm going to go to polygons, cut UV edges. Now you can also do that from here too. You can go to edit UVs, cut UV edges right there, same place. Alright, now that that's cut, we can select a UV, control right click to shell, and now we can use our move tool, and you can see we just removed that section. So if we were to move that over here and we were inside Photoshop or GIMP, we could have a color right there, and then we could have a color over here, and we don't have to worry about kind of having a perfect curve right there so that to keep the color separated. Alright, let's separate this down here. Control right click to shell. Let's just pull that off. Same thing over here. Control right click to shell. Move that over here. Same thing with the top. Control right click to shell. Alright, so these items over here are going to be one color, and these items here are going to be another color. In fact, everything else is going to be the same color. But all these are going to be a dark color, so having those separate will make it easier inside Photoshop or GIMP or whatever program you plan on using. Okay, now that that's done, let's go ahead and lay out all of our UVs the way we need to make everything simpler. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to select all the objects, and I want to get all these in kind of a square pattern as much as I can. So let's see, I'm just going to grab some UVs here. I'll just start doing it up over here. And let's see. Press F6. See how the bigger I make this, I can make the pattern the same size as everything else. But this is going to be a solid color and it's inside. It's not going to be seen very much. So I can kind of leave that at a smaller size. This is kind of a dark gray color. These pins are going to be dark gray color. So let's see which one these pins are. I'm just going to zoom in here and select one of the UVs on the pin. And then over here in our UV texture editor, or actually I can select one from each side. So I'm going to shift select. No, I'll just do that one. Control right click to shell. Use the move tool. Just move that out of the way. So let's do the same thing on this side. Select it. Select UV. Or actually we just got them all there. Let's move it to the side as well. Reselect all our objects. Alright, and we didn't get something. Kind of did this in a not very appropriate way, but that's okay. Let's kind of zoom back in here. I'm going to select this in object mode. That way I see only the UVs for it. Let's put that back where it goes. Alright, there we go. Alright, I'm going to zoom back out and reselect everything. Oops, in object mode. Alright, sorry about that. Easiest way to do it is just go ahead and move all the big pieces first, and then all this little stuff is left. It'd be easier to do it. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, we've got UVs here. The door is going to be this back piece right here. So I know it's this piece here. Let's just move all this stuff out of the way. I'm selecting a UV, control right click to shell, and just go and separate everything out. I'm just going to put those on top of each other. And we'll worry about these later. I'll find out which one those are. Alright, this right here is going to be the same color as this back. So I'll put this next to it. Let's see. Let's put the dark pieces underneath here maybe. So let's grab these two pieces. I'm just going to put them right underneath here. Maybe make all this a little bigger. These are also going to be dark. It's kind of the boring part, is just trying to figure out how to lay all these out. Alright, see, might make that a little bit bigger, and then we can put our pins right here since it's going to be the same color as these top ones. So I'm just going to go ahead and scale that up a little bit bigger. This right here was the pins. I'm just going to put these on top of each other. Or we can keep them separate, doesn't matter. But since they're both going to be exactly the same, I'm just going to put them on top of each other, at least close. You can leave it small. I'm just going to leave it bigger, again, because it's solid color. If everything was like textures, like dirt and lines or words or patterns, then you'd want to keep everything the same. Alright, let's see. Let's put the other color down here maybe. Move all that aside. These are all kind of going to be a light colored. Control right click to shell. Maybe make all this a little bigger. Maybe a little bit more bigger. I'm just kind of looking at the pattern here. So maybe something like that. Let's see, maybe put this piece here. So here's, let's see, let's maybe take this one over here and move it as well. We can shrink these up. Again, these are just solid colors, so it doesn't really matter what size they are. Could even stick them inside here. Alright, these are kind of the light color down here. So anything else that's light, I think that's probably it for all the light stuff. Oh, the inside is light. I think this is the inside, so we can move it over there as well. So maybe we can take these two pieces, control right click to shell. And maybe take this and fit it inside there. There we go. Now remember, this right here is all the stuff on the inside. Even though it really doesn't look like it, but it's alright. So I'm just kind of looking at this, trying to make this kind of a square. So we got some more room over here right now. Okay, I'm actually missing, let's see, what is this front piece right here? Is that what this was? Okay, that's the, make sure it's not the inside as well. Alright, I lost the inside. It might be part of this. Control right click to shell. Nope. This right here is going to be a clear material. And this is going to be where the logo is down here in this bottom right hand corner. So let's put that up there. This right here, this is all going to be light colored, or the clear color, and so is this. Oops. To shell. Can you make this bigger? Might as well. Alright, okay, it looks like the inside is with these still. I know it's not going to be any of this, so control right click to shell. Control right click to shell. Actually, it's part of this. Okay, I can see it in there now. To shell. Okay, this is all the inside. It's that kind of really light silver gray, so I'm going to stick that in here. And everything else can stay over here. Now these feet pads are kind of a dark rubbery, so I want to keep those separate. So let me go to object mode and just select just the feet pads. Alright, UVs, select all these UVs, and I'm just going to move those. I'll just stick them back inside there so I know which is which. Back to object mode, select everything. Alright, so this is the upper part of the feet, which is kind of a silver, that silver color. So let's see, Just going to shrink that and put that right down in here. Let's see, we'll switch these two. Alright, there we go. And this right here is going to be its own color. It's kind of a dark rubbery color. So we'll just stick that over here by itself. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let's kind of move stuff closer together so we can utilize our space a little more efficiently. I'm going to go and select everything, shrink it down. Now again, the more time you spend on laying stuff out, the better you'll get it laid out. So this might not be the best way, but it's not too bad. And we want to fit this inside this upper right hand corner of our grid. And we want to take up as much of that space as we can. So that's not too bad right there. Alright, so there's our UVs. We got everything laid out. And as far as our UVs go, all of this is going to be one color. All of this is going to be one color. All of this is going to be one color. And all this down here is going to be a color. And then this is going to be its own color. So hope that made sense to you. What we want to do now is I'm going to turn the shaded mode off. I'm going to do a save. Let's do file, save scene as, and this is going to be _7. And we want to do a snapshot because we're going to make our textures according to this layout right here. So what we're going to do is, with everything selected in object mode, if we try to do it now, I don't think it's going to work. So let's do polygon, UV snapshot. It's going to put this in the images subfolder. It's going to give the name of this file called OutUV. You can change the texture size. This is a square area, so we want our texture to be square. So that's why I've got mine at 1024 by 1024. I think that's the default. But you can change it to whatever you want to. You can make it even higher. It's like maybe 2048 by 2048. In fact, I might just go ahead and do that just to kind of show you. I'm just doubling it is all I'm doing. So it's a 2000K texture. Image form, the color value, white. You can change it whatever color you want to. That's just going to be the color of the UVs when you export them out. Image format, you can use PNG or TIFF or Targa or something that has transparency, that holds transparency value. That way you can put your grid, your UVs on top of your textures, so you can use it as a guide if you want to. But if you wanted to, you could also save it as a JPEG. It just won't have any transparency. Once you get everything the way you want it to, just click on OK. Alright, look, so down here you must select a valid object. Select a polygon or whatever. So right now we're in UV mode, not in object mode, so let's just, I'm going to close that out. I'm going to press F8. So now everything is selected in object mode. Let's do that again. Polygons, UV snapshot, and click OK. Alright, it worked that time. So if I close this out, I'm going to do another save. If we look in our DVD drawer subfolder of source images, or images, it was in images. There's our UVs right there. So if I say open this with paint, there's our UVs. Now you can see them here because the background is black, but it's transparent. So if I open this with maybe F check, will it still be black? Okay, it's still black. But if you look at the swatch right there, you can't see the UVs. It's because the background is white. Alright, so that part's done. We are ready to actually create a texture. I'll go ahead and stop this video. In the next section, the next video, we'll create a texture for it. Alright, thanks for watching.